Hey guys, welcome to the video. Salt here. Today we're going to be going over the primary weapon, the Amprex. Now this is actually the second video I'm doing for the Amprex. The first video was a few months ago, and since then we've had a status rework, and we've also, I go over my builds a few weeks or a few months after I make them to see if I would have changed anything. I also take comments people say into consideration as well. There's a lot of people that have a lot of good ideas. And yeah, going back to the Amprex build, there is one change I would make for one of the mod slots, maybe even two mod slots. There, I think I might have used a second mod that was less optimal. So the Amprex was suggested to us by Rabidowitz, and I didn't want to just tell him, hey, look at the old build, when I know that I could have switched one of the mods to be better. So that's why we're doing a new one today, just to refresh that. And I will archive that old video and kind of private it so that it's not going to confuse anyone. So if you look up Amprex, only the most recent one will show up. So we have the top commenter of the last video, Montero U, and the first commenter of the last video, Matthias Rojas. Alrighty, so the Amprex is a beam weapon. This is going to, when you shoot a target, it's going to chain to up to 3 more targets, and each target is going to get 50% less damage from the previous chain's damage. So the main target will take 100% damage. The first dude in the chain will take 50% of the main dude's damage. The second dude in the chain will take 50% of the first chained dude's damage. Then the third dude will take 50% of the second chained dude's damage. Yeah, I think I said that right. So, okay, let's get into the Amprex here. We'll explain some other interesting things about it. The Amprex comes with innate electricity, which is really nice. But that's all it has on it. It does not have normal IPS stats. So it's just electricity and then whatever you put on the weapon. So in this case, we're going to go with viral. The weapon does have a little bit above average crit multiplier, and it's got an okay crit chance too. So this build is going to be an orange crit build. Pretty comfortably in orange crits as well. So, okay. I'm going to go through the mods, but I also want to explain what I had differently previously and why I changed it. And I'm also going to have some options for one of the mod slots. One of the mod slots has like 5 mods that compete for it. So we'll go over it here. So let's start with Galvanized Chamber for multi-shot. Galvanized Scope for critical chance. Bladed Rounds for critical damage. This is the mod slot that has 4 other mods that compete against Bladed Rounds for this slot, and I will go over them at the end. Prime Shred for fire rate and punch through. Prime Shred will be your strongest fire rate option unless you don't have it, because unfortunately Prime Shred is a login reward. So if you don't have Prime Shred, you'll be using Vial Acceleration. Vial Acceleration gives you 90 fire rates. You actually get more fire rate out of Vial Acceleration, but you lose that 2.2 punch through, which does kind of suck. I have a spreadsheet at the end when I go through all this that explains how punch through works on beam weapons, because it is a little bit confusing. Okay, we have critical delay for critical chance. We have vital sense for critical damage. And then we have in our 2 mod slots at the end here, we have the 60-60 toxin and the 60-60 cold to make viral. In the Exilus slot, we're going to be going for Sinister Reach to increase our beam length by 12 meters. That's very powerful for beam weapons. And in the Arcane slot, you can either go for Primary Deadhead or Primary Merciless. They're both about the same. Primary Merciless, you're going to get more reload speed. Primary Deadhead, you're going to get more headshot multiplier. Just remember that the chaining beams just kind of chain to like the midsections of the dudes. So like the headshot multiplier is going to be for your main beam basically. I like Deadhead just because the stacks fall off slower than Merciless, but Merciless's reload speed is probably stronger than the extras you get from Deadhead. So pick and choose. If you like Merciless, pick Merciless. If you like Deadhead, pick Deadhead. It's okay to switch between those two. Okay. Now I want to go over there was one definite change, and I think there might have actually even been 2 changes I did. So we'll go over the possible thing that I think I had on here, which was primed cryo. I'm pretty sure I had primed cryo over rhyme rounds. And I want to explain why the 260/60s is better than 160/60 and the primed cold mod. And it comes to stat weighting. So as we see right now with the 260/60s, our viral and our electric are pretty close to each other, which is okay. You would actually want electric to be more, but it's okay. It's fine. If you put primed cryo rounds, it's way, way more than electric. And so you're not getting a lot of electric procs compared to viral procs. And unfortunately, viral only stacks 10, so you're wasting a lot of those procs. So you definitely do not want to pick primed cryo rounds. You want to go with the 260/60s instead. Okay, and then the big one I changed, and I know for sure I changed this one, was this slot right here. I did not have bladed rounds, and instead I had a mod called Galvanized Aptitude. And Galvanized Aptitude is a little bit of a confusing mod, and I guess I'll try to explain it here. So it's 80 status chance. That's a nice part of it. That's cool. But let's read the bottom part of it. On a kill, we get plus 40% direct damage per unique status type affecting the target for 20 seconds, stacking 2 times. So 80% direct damage per unique status type. Well, on this weapon, we only have 2 statuses, electric and viral, and so that's only 160% flat damage. That's actually less than Serration, and Serration is considered a bad mod. So you're not just getting that 160, though. You're getting the 160 plus 80 status chance, so it's not horrible. Like, it's an okay option. But there are going to be a few other mods that I feel at the end of the day will eke out the damage you would have gotten out of Galvanized Aptitude. And that's why I really wanted to redo this video, is because even though Galvanized Aptitude is still an okay mod for this slot, I don't think it's the best. So, and honestly, there's not a clear answer for what's best. There's situational answers. And so we'll kind of go over all of them. And at the end of the day, you're going to have to pick exactly which one you want. So I went with Bladed Rounds. Bladed Rounds is 120% critical damage. Critical damage is very good. This weapon has above average critical damage already, so that means it's even better. Critical damage scales really well. So it's a really good stat. But there's a lot of mods that are also really good for this slot. Let's go over them here. We'll start with Hammer Shot, because Hammer Shot is actually kind of an in-between Bladed Rounds and Galvanized Aptitude. So you get a little bit of crit damage, but you still get some status chance as well. Let's bring up Hammer Shot here. All right, 60% crit damage and 80% status chance. Well, that's pretty damn good. So I believe Hammer Shot's like a straight up upgrade from Galvanized Aptitude, and I think it's kind of a side grade to Bladed Rounds. So you would get less crit damage, but you're getting that plus 80% status chance, so you're going to be getting more electricity procs. So really good option. Very, very close to Bladed Rounds there. You're going to have to decide what you like better. Hammer Shot, unfortunately, is a very rare mod. It's a gigantic pain in the butt to get. So you're either going to have to farm for a while for it, or probably dole out some plat. But it's a very good mod. I would probably dole out plat. I love farming things in the game, but this farm is painful. I can't exactly remember what it is, but it's like nightmare rescue missions on a very specific rotation of them. So you have to do like specific things, and it's just a pain in the butt. Alrighty. Another option over Bladed Rounds is going to be Hunter Munitions. So Hunter Munitions is going to have a 30% chance to apply a slash on a critical. All of our shots are criticals. This is an orange crit build. So we're going to be applying criticals on 30% of our shots. Or slashes on 30% of our shots. Something to note, though, is that this is a low alpha damage weapon. This weapon hits very quickly, but each instance of damage is low alpha damage. And so the slash procs you're getting are very small. So, like, comparing the slash procs from this weapon to, like, a crazy, like, high alpha slash weapon, like, let's say the Dread Incarnon, it might take 100 or 150 of Amprex's slash procs to equal one slash proc from Dread Incarnon. So you know, if you're using 100 munitions on the Amprex, you'll see like, you know, maybe 100 slash procs on an enemy, but it's a little bit less impressive than what it looks like because each one is doing a lot, you know, less damage. But it's still a really good option, especially on pure Grineer maps where they have armor, because slash, of course, bypasses armor. So it's a very powerful dot against pure Grineer. All right. And then the final option for this slot is Rifle Elementalist. Rifle Elementalist is going to give us 90% status damage and plus 0.6 punch through. So you get a little tiny bit of punch through, and you get some status damage. Now, this is very powerful with the electricity, but Rifle Elementalist will typically not be better than most options until you're getting closer to level cap. When you're getting closer to level cap, your dots are the ones that are doing a lot of your damage, and so Rifle Elementalist starts pulling its weight, and pulling its weight rather well, actually. But before that, like, it will be beaten out by things like bladed rounds or hammer shot or all the other stuff. So if you're intending to do level cap, you should use Rifle Elementalist, and if you're not intending to do level cap, you should not use Rifle Elementalist. So that's kind of the story with Rifle Elementalist here. And actually, a lot of the Elementalist mods are kind of like that. Very good at level cap, kind of meh before then. So those are all the options for this slot. At the end of the day, I'm picking bladed rounds, but I'm really tempted for that hammer shot too. I've been kind of on the fence going back and forth between hammer shot or bladed rounds. So yeah, that's the new build for the Amprex there. This is the new min-max build here. Of course, this is also your Riven slot. So if you have a Riven, you could just plop it right over there. I got a crit chance, status chance Riven. I don't do my videos with Rivens though, but so you could plop it right over there. Or if you have a Riven that makes sense to put in another slot, like let's say you get a Riven that has, you know, replaces your Toxin or something, then of course you would put it there. But okay, so that's how you build out the Amprex. I also wanted to explain punch through on beam weapons because this is something that confused me for a very long time. I was like pretty well into the mid game and I still didn't even know what the hell punch through did for beam weapons. It was very confusing. So I have a data sheet here for you guys. It's a little bit complicated. You might need to be kind of like a mathematician or a scientist to understand this. But we're going to switch over to it right now. Here we go. Okay, so we're going to explain punch through on beam weapons. So this is you, and you have your Amprex, and you're shooting it. And let's say your weapon didn't have punch through. Well, it's just going to hit the first target. It's not going to punch through them, and it's going to chain to 3 enemies. So again, the main dude hit is going to take full damage. That's that red line. The red line are all the main beam. So the main beam will hit the first dude, and it's going to chain to another dude. That dude, which is number 1, is going to take 50% of the damage of the main dude. And then dude number 2, or chained dude number 2, is going to take 50% of the damage of chain dude number 1. And then chain dude number 3 is going to take 50% of the damage of chain dude number 2. That makes sense. I think it kind of makes sense. But with punch through, if your main beam, which is the red beam, hits multiple targets, the main beam can cause those chains to chain more. Like, so if your punch through hits 2 dudes, well then now each of those dudes are getting hit by a main beam and can chain to 3 enemies. So I hope I'm kind of explaining this pretty decently, but I thought this was like kind of a foolproof spreadsheet to kind of explain it. I don't know. Tell me what you guys think. So let's go back to gameplay here. Alrighty. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to show this on Steel Path Mott. I'm going to do 10 minutes. Don't mix this with any kind of external factor, so I'm going to do this on an Inaros with no Archon shards that increase weapon performance. No mods or arcanes on the weapons that increase weapon performance. And with a pet with no sentinel weapon and no mods on the pet that increase weapon performance. That way we can just see how the Amprex looks by itself, like clean without externals. And if you guys want to mix externals, you can. You could be like, you know, hey, Salt put viral on the weapon, but I'm using Nourish, so I'm going to go with something crazy. And that's cool too. So I'm going to make sure I'm going on solo. Mott. Steel Path, what's going on there? Oh, it's a nightmare mission, a survival.
The art of combat must be practiced to truly master the canvas of war.
Life support has
All right, I won't be pressing any abilities.
Hold on.
So this will just be the Amprex showcase. All right, once we get our conditionals up, we should be pretty much slaying here. Now, there are a lot of different beam weapons in the game. This one is innate electric. But, like, let's say you wanted to do a beam weapon that, like, had innate heat. Well, there's plenty of beam weapons that are innate heat. You don't need to try to get the Amprex to be viral heat. Like, just be happy with the Amprex being viral electric or having electric on it. And if you want to use a beam weapon that's heat, then pick another one. But the Amprex is... I'm not a Gyre player, and actually if there's any Gyre players in the comments, please let me know. But I have heard the Amprex is a very good combo with Gyre, or any kind of Warframe that gets advantages for enemies being electrified. I don't exactly know the Gyre interaction, but... I mean, honestly though, electric is a very powerful dot. It's kind of on the comeuppance now. It used to be, like, heat used to be the go-to, and now everyone's loving electric as a dot, so. Because it's an AoE dot, which is pretty crazy. Against the Acolyte, whenever the Acolyte spawns, this is going to be pretty meh against the Acolyte. Most beam weapons are pretty, like, average-ish or below average against the Acolyte. So this is not going to be any different. This is going to be very meh against the Acolyte, which is okay. So of course, with punch-through weapons, you want to try to hit multiple targets. So you're gonna want to try to line them up, and especially with these chaining weapons, because you know, hey, it could chain to up to 3 enemies, but that's per dude hit by the main beam. If the main beam's hitting 2 or 3 dudes, shit, you're double, tripling your damage. Let's say we have Angst coming out. He's a pretty easy Acolyte. He doesn't have any, like, crazy abilities. But you'll see that this is pretty average against him. It's not going to be an Acolyte slaying weapon. It's not going to be bad. It's just going to be kind of meh against the Acolyte. Wherever he is. I think he's behind me now. I think he keeps teleporting behind me. Yep, there he is. Now you can see his health. His health is slowly going down there. Oh, that's the one thing with Angst. He can stagger you a lot. That's the only bad thing about him. If you keep him at range, he doesn't really do anything. Ooh, we have a Guardian Exodus. Those can be a little bit dangerous. When they're alive. Alright, where are you, Angst? Angst is over here living his best life. There he is. He's dead. So yeah, tomorrow I was gonna do the Halakar Wraith today. I wasn't. I was thinking about doing the Halakar Wraith today, but I need a little bit more time doing some more research on it. My experience on glaives is mediocre at best. I don't use glaives a lot, so I need to do a little bit more research and testing before I actually put out a video. So it's still going to be tomorrow. I mean, it's still going to be pretty quick. It's going to be tomorrow, but I just wanted to give myself another day. And then Friday, I am going to try to put out a Varuna build. So that's the plan. That's the plan. There's one life support here. We have a few other weapons that were suggested that we already did, but I need to redo them because of the status rework. But I'm going to try to keep those like minimal, like maybe like once per week, just because I want to hit mostly weapons I haven't done yet. So like the redos, I'm going to try to keep like to a once a week at maximum. So like the Sporothrix is one of them. Like someone wanted to see the Sporothrix, which I think is awesome. And it probably is built differently now because of the status rework. That is definitely a weapon that probably is built differently. So we'll have to redo that one. But I'll keep that one for either next week or the week after. Just to kind of space those redos out. We have another Acolyte coming. Let's see who it is. It's probably going to be one of my arch nemesises. Probably like Malice or Mania. Oh, Torment. Okay, he's another easy one. I'll take it. Hey, I got lucky on this video. Angst and Torment. Torment's just annoying. He just spawns behind you. Well, he doesn't spawn behind you. He does his little Hydroid wave and goes behind you. But other than that, he's not too bad. He's just annoying because of it. You'll be trying to shoot him, and all of a sudden he goes invulnerable in his little wave, goes behind you, and then you have to like reposition and fight him. And of course, I do these videos assuming that you're only using the weapon I'm testing. Like, you know, you would switch to a melee and kill him in like 2 hits. You probably wouldn't be shooting your Amprex at him. So, but I just wanted to show like what the Amprex does to the Acolytes, which, you know, we've established is pretty mediocre.
use the Tenno. Come to scavenge and desecrate this sacred realm.
Okay, we're almost at that 10-minute mark. Let's get Torment dealt with. We got about 5 seconds left. Let's try to get our kill numbers up here. Alright, 10 minutes, 10 minutes. 822 kills. Let's give it a few seconds, then we'll recheck just in case anyone had electrical procs on them.
Tenno use the keys, but they are mere trespassers.
823 kills. 823 kills at the end for 10 minutes. It's pretty good. This is a very powerful beam weapon. I feel like there are better beam weapons in the game than this one, though. I mean, it's still very powerful, right? Like, the better beam weapons are... You know, this might be like A tier, but the better beam weapons are S tier. So, like, this is not bad. It's just that there's other powerful beam weapons in the game. But this one has that niche where it has that electric. So, again, if you're a Gyre player, let me know. But any Warframe or things that kind of combo with electric, I've heard that this is very powerful on. So, on those specific frames or those builds, Amprex may be the best beam weapon for you. Alright, that was the Amprex, guys. It's a really cool weapon. It's very easy to get. I'm pretty sure it just comes from the dojo. So, super suggested to get it, build it out, and have fun with it. So, if you guys like the video, consider giving it a like. If you haven't subbed yet, consider subbing or tell me what I can do to earn your sub. And I hope you guys have an amazing day. Alright, bye.